Bulavinaka, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rock.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tavenga Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, hate speech on social media concern. Civil servants complained about unprofessional conduct. And man jailed for rape of mentally and physically impaired woman.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Smith.
Hate speech containing racial comments and posts that are inciting religious hatred on social media is becoming a concern. Currently, no one can be charged on this as there's no legislation that can penalise these offenders. Kelly Vadala reports that police has received a number of complaints and are looking at ways to tackle the issue.
Online posts and comments like these have stirred negative vibes and ill feelings between many Fijians.
Hate speeches have the potential to derail freedom of expression from flourishing, and I think that's something that Fiji needs to realize. This will set an important precedent in terms of what people have been posting on the social media and its impact on social cohesion and ethnic relations and freedom from discrimination and hate speeches.
At the Aegis conference last week, Police Commissioner Brigadier General Sitivening Gilio stressed some of the difficulties when handling cases that are reported to them.
One of the challenges of the cybercrime unit and law enforcement authorities is that when complaints are investigated, criminal charges cannot be brought against alleged offenders for the simple reason that there was no express legislative provision criminalizing the behavior. We are heading in a direction where policing of crime will be more inclined to cyberspace and cybercrime as a national security issue.
Human Rights and Anti-Discrimination Commission Director Ashwin Raj says people should refrain from getting involved in online activities that bring about racism and hatred.
For us, we have had a history of institutionalized racism. So how we evacuate ourselves from the vicissitudes of racism is going to be important as we protect and jealously guard freedom of expression as an important element in ensuring that everybody enjoys the right to political participation, to freedom of expression.
Police is urging the public to watch what you post online and to think about the consequences or actions that may result from online hate speech. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
Unprofessional conduct by civil servants and delaying tactics in getting applications and documents processed is a big concern for the public. These were two major issues that were highlighted during FICAC's roadshow in the Central, Eastern and Western Division last week. Ana Ravulo has more.
Despite numerous reminders from the government to civil servants to be effective and efficient in their work, there has been negative feedbacks received from the public.
From the complaints that we've gathered, one is unprofessional conduct of public servants, and the second one is delaying tactics used by public servants in giving to members of the public the service that they rightfully deserve. And while these may not be corruption-related offences, it provides loopholes for corruption activities to occur in an institution.
FICAC Media Liaison Officer Nandini Vandana says all the complaints received will be dealt with relevant industries.
What FICAC does with these complaints is we analyze these complaints, and through our corruption prevention department we go to these particular sectors, these industries, and we are able to address this in their policies and their standard operating procedures.
The UNDP anti-corruption specialist says that people need to speak out more on corruption and not keep it quiet.
The voice against corruption is the critical element of successful fight against corruption. And fight against corruption is the whole of society effort. It cannot be only of governments and non-governments.
Meanwhile, a total of 224 corruption-related cases has been taken to court by FICAC in the last 10 years. Ana Ravulo, FBC News.
A man was sentenced to more than 11 years imprisonment in the Lautoka High Court today for the rape of a 17-year-old mentally and physically impaired woman. The man, who's the uncle of the victim on 3 occasions in 2014, raped and indecently assaulted his niece. In the first instance, the man asked the victim for a grog bowl. When the victim went to retrieve the item, the man locked the house and raped his niece. High Court Judge Aruna Aluthke, in sentencing, told the convicted rapist that the courts and society must ensure that disabled persons are specifically protected. Not only the offender himself, but potential offenders must be deterred. The man has been sentenced to 11 years and 10 months imprisonment and will be eligible for parole after 9 years. Edinburgh Drive in Suva is down to a single lane till further notice due to major works. Fiji Roads Authority Chief Executive Jonathan Moore says an old slip that was identified may pose a potential and existing hazard. Moore says the public is advised to use the Reservoir Road and Waimanu Road as alternative routes. FRA contractor China Railway 5th Group was working on the lane as part of the Suva Arterial Road upgrading project when they uncovered a wide crack in the ground. He said they have set up full traffic management in and around the area, and traffic controllers will be directing traffic flow. Motorists are advised to drive within the speed limit and take note of warning and diversion signs. The FRA is also carrying out an immediate investigation on this issue. Education Minister Ayaz Said Qayyum has set out strict deliverables for the distribution of textbooks and e-transport cards to students before the start of the 2018 school year. During a meeting with ministry officials, Said Qayyum directed the education staff to work closely with school heads to arrange these tools so students can properly return to school on January 15th. He has also instructed the ministry to ensure the remaining vacancies for school heads and classroom teachers be filled with qualified applicants as soon as possible. The minister also stressed that ministry officials should require timely and up-to-date information from school heads, especially given the unprecedented pay rise announced in June's national budget. To boost accountability, Said Qayyum also requested yearly records on the maintenance of textbooks, and timely requests of textbooks be included as key performance indicators for school heads and resource staff. Still to come, Parliament initiatives receive international recognition. NFLP calls for PDP voters' support. Stay with us.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo tali taka na varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kombinasyon ko lang ndo tali taka na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Kaya kuyaga silil tali, nagurara may nawamanyi, nando nga. Gitu tali tagi yang gitu Venezuela nagudurong barong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti na bonga ni BNN.
The Parliament has had a year of milestones, from the ramping up of its initiatives to ensure the House of Representatives is inclusive to approving 48 new pieces of legislation. Speaker of the House Dr. Chico Luveni, in this exclusive interview with FBC, talks about how the Fijian Parliament has gone from novices to international recognition of their programs. Maggie Boyle with the details.
It's been a busy year for the Parliament, and this pace is only expected to pick up next year.
We've had about 26 sittings, sitting days in the year, and in those sittings we have managed to enact 48 bills. Apart from the parliamentary work, we've done a lot of other, expanded our role with the help of the UNDP Parliament Support Project.
While the Parliament Secretariat is now fully resourced, capacity building of the members of the House is on the priority list.
There were 13 trainings facilitated, 4 members of Parliament, and they're enhancing their work in committees. The role of the chairs and deputy chairs of the committees, there was specific training that were made for them. Also, there were a lot of exposures to other parliaments.
For Dr. Leveni, though, the legacy of Parliament that has gained international recognition has been its speakers' debate and its programs focused on a Parliament of the people.
We established a civic education unit where the members of staff would go out to the community, taking Parliament there, and included is the Meet the Speaker program.
Parliament is expected to resume in February next year. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
The Fiji Labour Party is calling on PDP voters to support them in next year's general election. PDP, which raked in 15,863 votes in the 2014 election, will not contest next year's election, as its members will contest under the SADALPA banner. FLP's Assistant General Secretary Aman Ravindra Singh says many PDP followers have returned to the Labour Party. He adds they are in talks with members, branches and sub-branches of PDP that are around the country for these members to join FLP. Meanwhile, Singh says he's ready to take on his new role in his new party. Singh is among 3 former PDP members who have joined the FLP. The other 2 members are former trade unionists Mikaele Mataka and Taina Bainivalu.
I'm now a member of the Fiji Labour Party, and I am really humbled to have been elected into this party and to be appointed as the new Assistant General Secretary. I am humbled and I look forward to serving the people.
The National Fire Authority has wrapped up investigations into 2 recent fire incidences and handed the files to police. Chief Fire Officer Ngyonilao Modetai says they've concluded their assessment and deliberations on the Lautoka Hospital fire, which damaged the old operating theatre and X-ray room on Tuesday last week. The NFA has also completed the investigation in relation to the J. Santoram supermarket bulk store and National Uniform Garment Factory fire. Police spokesperson Ananai Soro says their investigations will now go over NFA's findings and determine whether or not arson was a factor and if criminal charges are to be laid. Thousands of Year 13 students flocked to various places today to receive their certificate exam results. A total of 7,711 students sat for the Year 13 exam this year. The Education Ministry stands ready to support Fiji's school children as they reflect on their results and strive to improve. For many students today, it means that they are able to now work on their future career.
I was planning to do a bachelor degree in law when I go to YSP.
I'm planning to go FSN next year to do nursing, Bachelor of Nursing next year. I want to be a nurse because I want to help people.
Ahead in sports with Jamie Moore from the Pacific Mini Games, but up next is Rachel with business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening, and coming up in business tonight. Contiki Finance to expand services. And in growing Fiji, early Christmas gift for Neta Siri province. Stay with us.
Moala ranalika, o tikongona taon na Singapore, ando talitaka na wakaronga ng Bull FM, number 2 na seri.
Ya dora subuni kurna bili. Iborani batu karahan para binaranga. Do talitaki na wakaronga ng Bull FM, number 2 na seri. Bula!
Bula FM, number 2 na seri.
In business tonight, Fiji's financial market has grown drastically over the last 3 years, increasing the demand for credit institutions. Taking advantage of this, new players on the block, Contiki Finance is expanding its services. Here's more.
The credit institution's role is quite simple. It takes money from the public in a form of investment and then lends it back as a loan.
So we must properly disclose the terms and conditions of loans to customers. And we're audited quite regularly. So there are finance companies in Fiji that are not licensed credit institutions, and they don't fall under the same auspices as we do and the other LCIs in Fiji. So it's the next thing to being a bank.
Contiki Finance has more than 7,000 customers and has tipped over 1 million in term deposit funds.
Almost every large business institution has monies in a term deposit with us for some amount or other.
The licensed credit institution plans to take its services not only to the Northern Division but to the rest of the countries in the region as well.
As I say, we've just opened in Lautoka. We're going to open in Labasa January, February next year, depending on how long the builders take to get things going. We want to list next year. We have aspirations to move further out into the Pacific. So we may open an office elsewhere in the Pacific later next year as well.
The institution will expand its Suva operations by doubling its staff.
And we now join Sharon from HFC Bank with the latest from the money market.
Thanks, Rachel. Let's look at some of the interesting developments in the market. Early in the morning, we had the United States release its Red Book Index and monthly budget statement for November. The budget deficit came out at $139 billion against the expected $134. Australia's consumer confidence surprisingly showed a strong result. Consumer sentiment index rose 3.6% to 103.3 in December from 99.7 in November. In the evening, we are expecting the consumer price index data for the euro area, and later at night we will have unemployment rate for the United Kingdom. But most important for traders tomorrow morning is the interest rate decision by the US Federal Reserve. Market is in a watch and wait mode with expectation of a 25 basis point rate hike. US inflation data will be released prior to interest rate announcement and is expected to come out stronger at 2.2%. So a big night indeed for the markets around the globe, and we'll wait to see how it impacts the currencies across. And that's all for now, Rachel. Vinaka.
Thanks, Sharon. Looking at today's current exchange rates set each morning for the Fijian dollar. The Fiji dollar had a relatively mixed day. It rose against the yuan, the US dollar, the euro and the Japanese yen, and dropped against the Australian dollar, the kiwi and the PNG kina. As for the commodities market, oil prices dropped to close at $57.51 a barrel. Gold was down to close at $1,242 an ounce, and silver dipped closing at $15.69 an ounce. And in growing Fiji tonight, 72 households in the province of Naitasiri celebrated an early Christmas this week following the commission of the rural electrification project for 2 villages and 3 settlements. Housing Minister Praveen Kumar officiated at the commissioning. The completion of this project cost $455,000 and has benefited about 300 Fijians. Kumar says government is committed to providing reliable and sustainable power supply to all Fijians.
FEA's 24/7 electricity supply also means that you no longer have to depend on diesel generators anymore for the generation of electricity. This also means that you don't have to worry about the repair and the maintenance of the generator, and switching the generators in the evening and turning them off in the night are the thing of the past.
And that's it from business this evening. Now to sports. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Thanks, Rachel, and good evening. Up ahead in sports tonight, Se Nokonoko wins gold in 400 meters. And it's back to the drawing board for the Fiji Sevens team. This and more coming up.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ. मिर्ची एफएम is number 1. It's so hot.
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे. मिर्ची एफएम is hot.
हाय, मैं संध्या नारियल रेफ्रिकी से. मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं. मिर्ची एफएम is hot. I love मिर्ची एफएम.
हमें स्पिन टोटो ताबुआ के मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे.
मिर्ची एफएम, it's hot.
Athletics Fiji has won 3 gold medals so far from the tracks at the Pacific Mini Games in Vanuatu. Late this afternoon, the men's 4x100 meters relay team finished strongly ahead of Papua New Guinea in the final to grab gold.
Racing the men's 4x100, fantastic start already. Looks like Vanuatu travelling pretty good at the moment. So too PNG, and as we thought, Sorelli Bulivorovoro going well for Fiji. Down the back straight, PNG travelling nicely at the moment. So too is Fiji. Vanuatu not out of it at this stage. Good changeover there by Fiji. Good changeover by Papua New Guinea as well. Who's going to bring them home? Going to be very interesting. Power for Fiji, getting ready to rock and roll. Here comes Vanuatu, slight stutter step. Out here, it looks like it's Whistle. Whistle on the inside, Fiji. Whistle, Powell, Vanuatu. Whoa!
Lane 3 was Fiji.
Fiji did it.
Yes.
Wow.
And the Fiji women's 4x100 meters team also claimed gold in the final. The side led by Eleanor Sailosi clocked a time of 47.43 seconds.
Running in the women's 4x100, all important start. Staggers really beginning to kick in a little bit here. Maybe Fiji just beginning to make a little bit of a move. Ragatu, a good leg there. Now on to the great Toya Whistle down the back leg. Can she make a big difference? I wonder whether they've changed runners here, Bob. Just having a look at the changeovers at the moment, very difficult to tell. Fiji, I think, might be moving. So the Noko going hard there, but also going well is Ada, Papua New Guinea, travelling nicely at the moment. All sorts of confusions for Papua New Guinea. Toya Whistle all tied up. Fiji at the moment is going to bring them home. Nalu, here comes Toya Whistle trying to close it down, but she can't. It's a famous win for Fiji.
Miriam Senokonoko made her return to the tracks in style for Fiji, winning gold in the women's 400 meters at the mini games in Vanuatu. Senokonoko clocked a time of 57.32 seconds, while Andiadakambau school student Elenani Tinai settled for silver. Here's the race from earlier today.
The Fiji girls travelling pretty nicely at the moment as well, because in lane 3, Chinai travelling quite nicely down that back straight as well. So Noko just beginning to tie up a little bit. See how they go through the bend.
Is that Valentine Hello?
I think Valentine is going pretty well at the moment. Valentine Hello might momentarily have the lead. So Noko trying to get in touch with her. Chinai, Fiji coming up on the inside as well. It's going to be Chinai, I think, and Hello. This could be another memorable moment. But Chinai beginning to move ahead for Fiji. Here comes Noko with a big burst at the end. Hello seems to have been gone. It is Noko going to finish over the top of Chinai. In. There's Chinai.
Athletics Fiji has expressed its disappointment with the decision by Pacific Mini Games officials to deny Aaron Powell a gold medal for the 100 meters event yesterday. A formal complaint has been lodged, and Athletics Fiji coach Tony Ndelai says if the decision isn't reversed, they will take it further. Melita Vanga with the details.
Aaron Powell finished first in the 100 meters final yesterday, clocking 10.81 seconds, but unfortunately he was disqualified later after being cited for a false start.
Great start by Powell once again. He's off to the fly that he wanted. Can Longaroba catch him? Bassau is coming up hard. Powell at the moment. Looks like Powell could be Marai as well. Bassau threw himself at the line.
However, Athletics Fiji coach John Ndelai says they've lodged their complaint and are willing to go further if there's no action taken by the jurisdiction.
And we're going another step higher from, we go to the tribunal right now. Look at all the evidence that says it was a split start in the first start, eh?
Ndelai says this issue has caused disappointment for them.
It was the first start. Even the starter himself was talking to me, the timing of this in 20, it was the first start. There was no break. When the managers knows about it, they're going to come back to the managers like Morris and Joe.
Kelvin Masoy of Samoa was declared the winner, clocking 10.84 seconds. Silver medal was awarded to Wesley Longorava, and bronze medal went to Kupun Whistle of PNG. Melita Vanga, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, Aaron Powell will go into the finals of the 200 meters event with the fastest qualifying time. He finished first in his heat with a time of 22.02 seconds this afternoon.
Racing then, and they're away clean this time. Powell once again is a great start and already beginning to make a move. Lana Milo, I think Samoa is gone, but Aaron Powell is travelling very nicely as well. Piniao is there. Piniao is going to hold him. On his outside is Tao, Bradley Tao as well. So it's Powell, it's Piniao, and it's Toa. So it's Fiji, PNG, Vanuatu in that order.
Francis Kirikirikula has also qualified from his heat for the 200 meters final. Kirikirikula finished second to Samoa's Kelvin Masoi, who clocked 22.35 seconds.
This time they're away, much better indeed. Kirikirikula, look, running very well on the inside lane. Masao going pretty nicely as well at the moment. Masao's probably going to lead them as they come off the staggers. Inside of him is Marie. Masao, Marie doing very well at the moment. The Samoan really working extremely hard. Vanuatu's there as well, that's Mento. So it was Masao.
Meanwhile, Natambo High School Shane Tuvusa failed to complete his 200 meters heat. Tuvusa, who had an outstanding performance for his school at the Coca-Cola Games this year, suffered a hamstring injury 30 meters from the finishing line. Tuvusa also missed the men's 4x100 meters final this afternoon. Sarawaya Rangatu qualified for the final of the women's 200 meters after finishing second in her heat. Papua New Guinea's sprint queen, Toa Whistle, finished first and is the favorite going into the final tomorrow.
Racing in the women's, and they've got them away nice and clean as well, and Whistle is absolutely motoring. Sharpin is well and truly gone. Whistle is just dominating here. Ain't nobody going to catch Toa Whistle today. She's in scintillating form. Perhaps Saranga could get up there for Fiji. There's no doubting that this champion from PNG just eases over the line. How easy is that? Fiji will run second.
Fijian boxers are yet to register a win at the Pacific Mini Games. Pauliasi Ratu Jr. lost to Nuvuli Mose of Samoa, while Josefa Rabundi was beaten by Louis Sibas of Vanuatu on split points decision.
Bill Hurdy. They only need to throw scoring punches now. They only need to throw one or two at a time. If they're scoring, you go, oh, right hand from the Fijian. They'll go, here's the decision now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Friday, anyone's decision, you're going to win one of them will be around.
The Fiji Airways National Sevens team arrived in the country late this afternoon. While the results from the first leg of the World Sevens Series was not what it aimed for, Captain Jeru Tuwai says they have identified their shortfall and will work to fix this before the next leg in Sydney next year.
Captain, we were up by 21-7 by halftime. But in the second half, we just, I think we just relaxed a bit. That's why they came back.
3 international hockey teams were welcomed to Fiji last night by the Minister for Tourism, Fayaz Koya, at the launch of the Oceania Hockey Challenge Cup, which started today. The Fiji Hockey Presidents teams will host Australian country, New Zealand Presidents and Japan in the men and women's category at the hockey turf in Suva. Koya says the participation of these teams will not only lift the standard of hockey in the country, but boost the economy as well.
To all of you that have not been here before, welcome. Welcome to Fiji. For those of you that have come here for the first time, and I hope your week-long tournament will not only enable you to enjoy the game of hockey, but also to meet new friends, and but also to enable you to enjoy the famous Fijian hospitality.
That's it from Sports Tonight. Angie joins you later on with weather, and in new media right after the break, a look at one of the latest features of Apple Watch. That's coming up.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo tali taka na varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kung minasong butukola, ndo tali taka na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Kaya kuyazo sila tali, nagurara may nawamanyi, nandunga. Gitu tali tagi yang gitu pinasawale, nagunto rongo, varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti na bonga ni BNN.
In new media, it's about the Apple Watch tonight. The watch can instantly connect to fitness machines running GymKit. It's weather time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. It's the hump day and weather today wasn't pleasant for some areas of the country. Well, let's check out what the scenario was like around the nation. In the west, a brightly lit day with few showers disturbing the beautiful scene. Eastwards from Pekhaba to Suva, a cool day with light drizzle. And up north, majority of the areas up here had light showers. At sea, east to southeast winds 10 to 15 knots and 20 knots through the passages, moderate seas, rough through passages. And for the tides, low tide tonight will be at 10:33 with high tide tomorrow morning at 4:34. Sunrise will be at 6:24. For tomorrow, the day will be much like today. The whole nation will have showers again. Tomorrow's temps, the northern side will be quite hot with highs of 31 degrees. And looking further on to Friday, there is more showers in the forecast, possibly heavy showers. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fijian Pulse tonight, we asked, are you satisfied with the reason given for Aaron Powell's disqualification from the Pacific Mini Games last night?
I don't think he was supposed to be disqualified because Paul worked hard for it to be at first place.
It's disappointing because he worked hard for it, and for them to disqualify him like that, they should have had a review or a rerun. Yeah, it's quite disappointing because he worked hard for it.
I don't think that he proved to qualify in the game, but he worked so hard to qualify.
Yes, I think it was right and fair. The rule applies to everyone. If you disqualify somebody throughout, might as well apply to everybody. So the rule goes for everyone else.
In the world of the weird and the wonderful, medical marijuana has been used to treat epilepsy in patients for years. This month, U.S. Surgeon General Jerome Adams said it should be studied and treated like other pain relief drugs. A growing body of scientific evidence is leading the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to do that. Recapping the main stories, hate speech on social media concern, civil servants complain about unprofessional conduct, and man jailed for rape of mentally and physically impaired woman. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question this week, we are asking, should NCD education be implemented in the school curriculum? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, our shot of the day, sent in by Tale Moi Moi Koroi. A beautiful hibiscus flower taken at the Muscat Cove Island Resort in the Asawas, a very rare find to see two colors blended in one. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page, FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, stay safe. Good night.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1। इट्स सो हॉट।
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
हाय, मैं संध्या नारियल रेफ्रिकी से। मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट। आई लव मिर्ची एफएम।
हमें स्पिन टको ताबुआ के मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
Mirchi FM, it's hot.